Hello, hello.
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 Hello, hello.
We're getting people on here. Hey,
Hello.
what's up, Judy? How are you doing?
Judy.
You made it.
Fine.
You made it.
I think I've figured out the problem for our country. You know what we can all agree on? We like democracy. So it's like, okay, so doesn't that require listening?
Well, I don't know if I'm waking up to talk politics, but well, I think I agree with you that hopefully, well, I'd actually probably fundamentally disagree that everyone in the country likes democracy. We have a whole bunch of people that are into socialism, so exact opposite of democracy.
No, I'm not. There are socialist democracies, so I'm not sure that's necessarily.
Socialism as an ideology is the direct opposite of social democracy.
Okay.
Democracy is rooted in the idea that everyone should have a chance at freedom, but not everyone should have the chance at the same, and not everyone's going to get the same opportunities. So that's,
Okay.
philosophically, it's a big difference for me.
Well, yeah, I mean that's good. I mean that's the thing I'm always interested in hearing, because that's kind of my next exploration. I just woke up, thinking about this. So I was, my next exploration is, what's the definition of democracy?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because most democratic governments have been, and also inside our structure, inside our company, inside our everything, we're a meritocracy, and so we've gotten away from the concepts of a meritocratic environment for, I guess, especially the past 2 years, but probably before that. But to where that's actually still a thing, where it's still a thing that the best person gets I think it's always been that way. For me, it's like I've always been that way. Not like that. Well, the world's definitely not always been that way, but I've always been like, look, whoever does the job best. I mean, I got people in my company. I'm saying, look, if you can write a better. In fact, Richard, Leanne will testify to this. Richard's like, what if could I write a different version of your webinar? I mean, I know you're the copywriter guy, and I'm like, hey, dude, I don't care as long as if you outperform my stuff because I'm too close to the forest to see the trees, knock yourself out. I mean, this is not hard. The thing that I'm, we're not going to get into a political conversation, guys, but the thing that really bothers me a lot about in general is when something isn't hard, but we're making it hard. When you've got a lot of people that are saying things that are just non sequitur, non-starter conversations, non-starters entirely. I was a collegiate debater, so this is really, really grates the nerves if I check into it too long. If I hear somebody say something that's completely just a factual comment and their retort is, "Oh, you're a racist." It's like, no, I just quoted a stat from the Washington blah 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 or whatever. So yeah, that's not an argument, nor will it ever be an argument. And people like that can just go fuck off. I mean, I have literally zero interest in speaking to them. So until they can come to me with any sort of valid argument, now I love conversation.
For me, I'd go one step further. It's like, why? Okay, what you do is you put a label on somebody and you close the door, and it's like, why don't you go deeper and say, well, if they are a racist, what's behind that?
Well,
right?
Yeah. I'll put this, all you can do is say I had this conversation, and by the way, a friend of mine who made it, we were having not a heated conversation, but certainly an impassioned one about some statistics that she was tossing about. And I said, that is not true. That is not true. The statistics I'm not saying that you're a liar. I'm just saying that it's not factual. The actual statistics, which I was able to pull up on my phone, because I can do a search, and say, here's what the actual statistics are. And she said, God, that's just so racist. I go, statistics can't be racist. This has nothing to do with, in this case, we were talking about what the current immigration rate is. And I'm like the worst racist on the planet then, because I lived in Mexico. I love Mexican women. Sorry, shoot me at sunrise. Are you kidding me? It's like, this is the most stupid argument ever. It's like, I just did a fun telethon for one of my old friends who's very, very Hispanic. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, you might as well call me anorexic. It's going to bounce. And she didn't call me that. She was very sweet. She was not calling me, because people that know me know that's ridiculous. But there are other people that don't know you that will sit across from you and say things like that. So I'm not going to digress into that conversation, because we can go a long time down that rabbit hole. I will say that it does play into a concept that we're going to talk about a little bit today. We can talk about it here if you guys want to. So somebody else joins us. I don't think people got the 8 o'clock message. I see that Oscar did and Derek did. And that's it. So
and wait a second.
Well, I never count staffs. It's like 97 times. Other than the staff, you are paid to get the message. But
no,
yeah.
That was Judy. That wasn't me.
Oh, sorry, Judy. Well, I'm sorry. Judy, you guys sound a lot alike, first of all. Second of all, yes, other than the person I'm speaking to right now. So yes, I stand corrected. I was
wondering if I was getting a pay raise.
Well, that's just proof I'm sexist. That all it is proof.
I was a paramedic years and years ago, and I worked in this place called Sun City. And I remember this guy coming up to me and saying, "Oh yeah, you took care of my wife," or something like that. And, I knew the time frame he was talking about. I knew the paramedic he was talking about, who looks nothing like me.
Right.
But we were both female, so that was that slot. And I was just, this is people get so upset about things which are part of how human beings operate in the world.
Yeah,
which is broken, right? I mean, it's not ideal. It's like if people just understood a little bit more about how we all humans are not perfect.
No, we're not. None of us are. And Christopher Hitchens had a wonderful, he had a way of elucidating a comment on anything one of my favorite writers in our generation. He had more, I think Sam Harris said he had more wit and repartee than most, like a lot of civilizations he could name. Was his exact comment. But that was his eulogy. So, which is true. But he had a comment where he said, if we had the ability to take all of us back in time, a mere 100 years, the complaints that most people are lobbing at other people would vanish within seconds. If we took people back 500 years, you'd be lucky to get out of there alive. But if you did, let's say that you were impervious to being seen or whatever, you would really see how humanity is doing what Steven Pinker talks about, and Peter Diamandis, my friend Peter. There's an upward spike in everything going in a positive direction. It's a downward spike in a lot of negative, but you don't see it unless you back out and look at the big picture. I think when that happens, people can be more nuanced. I'm going to tie this into copy, by the way. Watch me do this. Just watch and learn. Watch and learn. It's like if you can get so entrenched inside the little bitty things, right? We can go so into, do I have this structure? Do I have this structure? Do I have this structure? And you forget to do this and back out and read it. And when you back out, and I'm speaking of life and copy now, you back out and you read something, or back out and you hear what you're saying. It's like, it may be all like, oh, I had these points going, but none of them are woven together, or it's a narrative that's not true, or whatever the case may be. So it's important to keep that whole, let's back up and keep looking at things from as much of a neutral perspective as possible, which is why, by the way, I'm going to talk at length about this. There's a couple guys that know more about this than others, but why I think it's important to write in tandem. Why I think editors are so important, especially when it's not you. But it's important for you to learn the skill of editing. We're going to talk a little bit about the skill of editing in the last week of the class, because it's so important. We've been talking about it, so it's like I'm not opening a loop here on purpose, but we've been talking about like how do I make the sentence shorter? You just go back and if you watch all the videos again and watch how much of the commentary that I'm doing on people's copy. How can I make the sentence shorter? We're going to look at a John Carlton letter today, and just to show you exactly, well, that technique is not difficult to learn at all. We're also going to cover something that we shared. If you guys, how many of you guys can you just raise your hand? And I'm going to say good morning, everybody. We're on the copywriter telethon. We're there. Tim, okay, Tim, I can't see Oscar. Brennan, you missed this, man. Dude, I know you're in like another part of the freaking world, but dude. Yeah. Judy's raising her hand, cyber speaking wise. Can't tell if Oscar, I don't see him. Oscar, I don't know where your pretty face is, but but yeah, that was intense. I've gotten messages one after the other like that was the best workshop I've ever heard, and I didn't expect that to happen. I learned more from that workshop than I learned in years. I mean, so, and I'm going to teach one of the things that we shared. I'm going to hold to my guns. No one gets the recording unless they donated, because we did this for charity. We blew the charity goal way off the freaking top of the charts. Okay. So thank you again for that. That's awesome. But man, did we learn a lot. I mean, it's so incredible what those guys were able to share so quickly, and none of them had any idea what they were stepping into. I mean, they were like, I PM'd all of them the day before. Hey, can you come on this call tomorrow? I mean, that's literally the kind of guys those guys are. And by the way, everyone but two people came on the call. One person was David Garfinkel, who said, dude, I would totally love to, but I'm going out. He's out of town with his girlfriend, and they got this real romantic. I go, hey, I'm not getting in the way of love, dude. Never. Okay, I get it totally. But he was totally supportive of it. And then John Carlton. And I found out later, John PM me. He goes, dude, I tried to get on your freaking GoToWebinar call and it wouldn't let me on. I'm like, oh man, we almost had Carlton on there. But yeah, so that's how cool these guys are, man. And it's amazing that that we have that kind of a crew. So very important. But anyway, riding in tandem. A couple people talked about it, but not nearly as much as we're going to today. How important it is to have that.
I mean, a lot of places. In fact, I was just commenting to somebody today, because he was, I was asking him how he did something really well, and he said, "Well, I write it, and then I get some time away from it." And it's like that whole concept that is repeated so often, again and again and again, which is really writing is rewriting.
Writing is rewriting, which is the thing that we hear over and over again. And how do you rewrite? Do you just change the sentences the way we do in CopyPro, where we just write different versions? Well, that's one way. But also, how do you make it better? And how does the sentence get better? And we've talked about speed bumps in the course. We've talked about shortening things. How concise can I say this? Everything I pulled up, one thing that I pulled up on the call on the telethon, because Leanne and I had 4 or 5 copy pieces later.
Yeah, we never even got halfway through the first one.
Never got through the first one. It's like, because the next thing you know, there's Matt and there's Todd, and they're all on the call at the same time. I'm like, okay, well, let's just go talk to these guys. The next thing you know, we're in this, they're delivering more value per square inch than you've ever seen, man. It's incredible. So what I am going to do, what I totally feel ethically cool to do, is to share over the next few weeks what some of the things that they did share with me, the most important things, I think. So just in case you couldn't make it or didn't get the email, I mean, we tried every way to get in touch with people, but maybe it's bad financial timing for you. So I don't want to penalize people for that, but we made it to where it's like, hey, look, you have to donate $50 to the cause. Otherwise you don't get the recording. And plus you get my $500 product for free. And only one person, he wasn't pissed. He was like, well, I paid $2,000 for that. Talking about the one that we gave away for like it was for $250 or $500, but all good, all for good reasons. All for one day too is never going to happen again. But anyway, just cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. So I want to hear what's going on in your lives. Like, who wants to? Since we're only 9 people. Oh, wait, there's 9 of us here now. Let me say good morning, everybody. Brennan, Derek, Oscar. Hey, Tim. Valerie. Hello, Valerie. Elaine. Leanne, and then we got Judy, and then moi. Okay, so Oscar, I don't know why you're invisible. There you are. Awesome. He's waving now. All right, Derek, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Got anything to share? Got anything interesting to share? The man with the background? I still want you to come on one day with something on that background. So
yeah, I can. I haven't ever tested it on Zoom. I know it to show up on my computer. I don't know if I do like a green screen sort of thing. Yeah. Maybe I can try that sometime.
Yeah.
In terms of anything, I was thinking of a question to ask on the telethon, and the only thing I came up with, not that there's not like a million questions I could have asked it. I'm working with a lot of fitness trainers and stuff right now as part of a group helping them with their copy. And so far it's going well. I haven't had any obstacles. I was just curious, if you were to give someone a crash course in copy, people who are newbies, they're not trying to become master copywriters, just getting them up to speed, what would be some of those essential nuggets or things that you would share?
Yeah. I mean, I would go back and start with the day 1 class of this class and talk about the importance of understanding the avatar. You heard on the telethon how many people that, by the way, with zero conversation beforehand, hey guys, be sure to talk about avatars, be sure to talk about stories and emotional and even empathy. The word empathy came out from Todd Brown's mouth. None of that was pre-scripted. So just so you know, so this is like fundamental stuff. You got to understand the avatar inside and out. Where Chris was saying, and I've said this many times, I say this in 3X VSL and it's what became Accelerator. Never say, I know you're feeling this. I know you're feeling this. You always, you could subtly change that. Say, maybe you're feeling this. Perhaps you're feeling this. I know a lot of folks going through this. They feel this. I just do a whole bunch of opens, so that is all empathy based. And that's all understanding the avatar. So they've got to know what they're doing. The second thing, and this is not having anything to do with copy mastery. You're not selling the product ever. And it's so easy for the most seasoned person to get lost on that. I mean, especially when you got something like, you get a software that does something that looks magical. It's very easy to want to sell that damn product and go, look, but you're not. You're selling what the product can do for people. And it's really hard for trainers. I've worked in the fitness space for, 20 years. And so I get the mentality working with fitness coaches and trainers and stuff. They really think that they're selling what they know. They're eager to put the consonants behind their names. They're eager to talk about that. They're not. They're not. That's not what they're selling. And the guys I've worked with to help them get like crazy clients, it's real simple. It's like, I'm here to do everything you don't want to do. I'm here to, you don't want to get out of bed at 6 a.m. to come here and work with me. I'm here to make sure you do. You don't want to do that extra set. I'm here to make sure you do. They don't give a shit about your consonants after that. They don't. I mean, unless they're really pedantic and they just, yeah. And so again, what is the problem in the customer's mind? It's not, man, if only I could find, and I know this may not be specific, Derek, but if only I could find a trainer that had a CS and I, it's like, that's not what they're waking up saying, right? I want a CS and International Sports Nutrition Certificate. No. They're like, give me the results. And that's why you find, by the way, this is also not a knock on, well, this is a blatant knock on trainers, come to think about it, but why you find so many poor trainers is because you get guys and girls that go into this because they're genetically gifted. Because they think that what they're doing is producing the results that they have. And you see, I've seen this 1,000 times. I mean, with people who they walk out of the womb with abs, or they've been athletic all their lives, never been fat a day in their lives. They have no clue how to change. They have no clue most of the time how to help somebody who hasn't. They don't know. They're giving them the same thing that they're doing, right? So they got to get into the experience, and I'll end with this: the experience of the avatar, not just the words. What is it like to be overweight, or feel like everything hurts, or feel like, let's say you're super thin, you can't gain weight to save your life? What does that feel like to go in the gym and bust your ass and be sick for a week? They need to know that. So that may be somewhat related to what you're talking about, hopefully. Those are much more trainer-specific questions. But, hey, Craig, what's going on? I'm trying to say hi to you. Yeah, you got it, Dirk. Craig's going to be blind or deaf or something. He's going to come on camera. No, there he goes. What? He's trying.
Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, man?
Man, that call was epic, and I know you're talking about it, so just wanted to say.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was great. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this about Craig. He only has half a face. It was there he is. There he is. Yeah.
That's been a trouble my whole life. I know you can empathize with that.
yeah, I can totally empathize. So yeah, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Tim, how you doing, man?
Great, John. Good to see you. Everybody, good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Hey, Tim.
Good to see everyone. We got.
Hey, John, I have a question.
Yeah, shoot. Dive in, everyone.
Every time you deconstruct copy, it's masterful because it's like you see the matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see every sentence means something, and this means empathy, and
Mm-hmm.
this sentence means an open loop, and everything is something. Every time I see you breaking down copy.
Mm-hmm.
So now reverse engineering that when you write copy,
Mm-hmm.
are you thinking of every sentence meaning something, or do you just write and then edit later, or how's your process?
Yeah, if I thought of every sentence meaning something, I'd never get anything written. I go into that speed writing state that we talked about in week 3 or something like that, where I'm getting into character mode. And if you were on the, I can't remember if you were on the call or not, Oscar, but remember me talking about the Nietzschean Superman, and David Deutsch was like, wait, back up. What was what was this about Nietzsche? I'm not a fan, by the way. I was a philosophy major, not a fan of Nietzsche at all. But not as a, I want to get into philosophy, but for many reasons. But some of which is that his conclusions were extremely curt. But I'm a big fan of the idea of the Superman being that there's a higher self in somebody. That's not how he worded it, but you're writing from a position of you're dismissing all. You're giving yourself permission to dismiss all your neuroses, all your problems, all your current issues. You're in a state that is simply above everything else, and you can give yourself permission to do that. So let me tell you a trick that we use to do this with my ex-wife, and I used with my stepdaughter. What we used, and it works really, really well. That you can say, like, yeah, if you want to feel that, you can feel it all you want, or if you want to, you can drop it and put it down for a little bit and then come back and feel it later, and I'll feel it with you. So it's up to you. So you can use this with an adult too, right? It's like, hey, like if you want to feel bummed out and pissed off about life and then that's scared, just feel it all you want. Or you can choose to feel that later. Like don't try not to feel it, but just say, I'm just going to feel it in 10 minutes. And so you start the exercise by saying, I'm going to see if I can just not feel this for 10 minutes. Now it's difficult to do because I mean, feelings are almost involuntary reactions, right? But you can choose to focus on, and this can sound a little silly, guys, but gratitude exercises to force yourself to write out 5 things that if we're not there, your life would be freaking terrible. Like no matter how bad it is I have this, and then picture yourself. And I've gone through this many, many times in copywriting seminars. Picture yourself not just like, if you say, well, what if I had no legs and was living in the outskirts of Tibet? Okay, no, like, so you're saying something that will never happen, but you put yourself in that situation. Like, but what would that person's experience be like? And this is the most important question of all. How badly would I want to return to where I am right now? What would I give to come back? And then back off from the legless dude in Tibet, and come back to something much more possible. What if I had cancer? What if I was just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer? That's completely possible for all of us, right? And put yourself completely in that situation. How badly would I love to come back to where I am right now? You'll feel your mood starting to lift no matter what shit you've been through. Okay. You'll feel your mood starting to lift. I am not Pollyanna at all. I believe that you should fully feel everything and you should fully express everything. You can express anger in a way that's completely non-violent. I love non-violent communication. I can literally say to somebody, look, man, I'm really frustrated with this right now. I'm frustrated with how you're responding. And my voice just sounds the same. I'm not like, so you don't have to do that, but you can feel it. You can feel everything. You can vocalize your feelings, but you can also choose to put them down. And so when I write, I just put everything down. If I'm going through a really tough day, especially if it's deeply emotional stuff, I'll write down how would I like to feel the loss of my wife, for example, and feel that on top of having cancer. And I'm not doing the whole relativism, blah. What did Thompson called it? The enormous condescension of posterity. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to do a reframe. I'm not saying that relativism is where you say to me, life is okay because you're not stage 4 cancer. I'm not saying that. Your life can suck ass right now. It could be terrible if you had lost your wife or your dog died or you can't pay the rent and you're scared. It can suck right now in this moment, and it's okay to feel that. To be Pollyanna and go, well, it could be worse, could have no legs. That's a lazy person's excuse for that. What I'm asking you to do is do an intelligent person's rationale for doing that and go, okay, look, what would it feel like if I did? Not that it could be worse. What would it feel like? And then the great reframe is, and how badly would I want to get back to where I am right now? Once you realize that, it's like, I would want to get back here really, really badly. And I start with the legless guy in Tibet because we'll never be there, probably. But stage 4 cancer? Or what if, you know, a close friend of mine or a family member or God forbid a child was killed? I mean, that reframes everything immediately. How much would I want to get back to where I am right now? And then write from that state. And that's if you're feeling down. And if you're feeling up, it's great. You can write from that state. You can just kind of project yourself into your high self. But when I'm writing, I'm in character. I am not editing sentences. When I do, it sucks. And then I come back afterwards, I write. And I wish David Deutsch was a part of this group because he would testify to that. He was like, man, is this stream of consciousness writing? What are you doing here? But yeah, it's stream of consciousness. So.
Hey, John, what David also said on that call was when diving into your avatar was read what they read, watch what they watch,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So if you go into that higher self thing, into that place of emotion, and then read what they read, I mean, do a search for what would I search for? What would I want to watch? What would that be a good place to do that from?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because if you're, so first of all, you would go both places, because on the call I said I go to the Nietzschean Superman and then I go to the depths of my despair is how I think I worded it, but that's how I'll word it right now. So I to the depths of my despair, meaning how close can I relate to what I'm writing to? And it just so happens that almost everything I've written, I can relate to very well. I've never written anything in the financial space, for example. I couldn't relate to it, but I've written most stuff I've written has been in wellness, fitness, you know, relationships, that kind of stuff, where I know it inside and out. So I go to the deepest despair and then feel that, and then go read their comments about complaints. That would work great because I would feel their complaints much deeper. And that comes out in your writing, the deeper you feel. So the best writers tend to be people that have very high EQs. They feel deeper. They're not logicians. They're not logically driven people. Those are great editors. So yeah, so I write from there, but if I'm going to write successes, then I want to go into the highest possible self I can feel. It's just two different emotional states, but hearing their words is important. You know, if you don't know them already, and even if you do, it's a good idea to be reminded.
John?
Yeah. What's up?
You quoted somebody about posterity.
Uh-huh.
What was the quote and who was the person?
E.P. Thompson. He was a British 1900s, early 1900s philosopher and writer. And I just remember the quote from a long time ago. He called relativism the enormous condescension of posterity. Which I thought was this is great. So if anyone's curious about what that's, you can interpret that a few different ways. But I hear this today, and let me pull that back to what that means for me today. When I hear people saying, I'm going to be a little bit controversial here. Sorry if I offend anyone. I'm not trying to say that my opinions are necessarily correct. They're all right. I'm completely right all the time. But when I hear people say, like I heard my good friend say, that America in 2019 is one of the most racist places on the planet, that is the enormous condescension of posterity. That is if you were to go back in time 100 years to say that would be insane. You would feel like you would have to be locked up in a lunatic asylum to say something like that. But that is the dangers of relativism. Meaning you're making something relative to your own experience. In other words, there's another way of saying this, by the way. History didn't begin the day you were born. I love being a student of history because I can look back and go, man, I'm saying we don't have problems. I'm not again, far from everyone knows me and knows Johnny Pollyanna. But man, am I ever impressed with humankind as a whole, how far we've come. And we got a long ways to go for sure. But to not see how far we've come is just to bury someone's head in the sand, I think, And Pinker's book and even Diamandis' book is even better. Just proves this. If you ever get down, read Abundance by Peter. Peter's such a sweet dude too. But his book is just devastating. I mean, good luck arguing with a rocket scientist and a Harvard MD. You're going to lose that argument, bro. and he's he's not Pollyanna at all. He's very much just a realist. Here's the data. The data are here, and you can take it or leave it. But guess what? It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and that's what you get a lot of what you say. It's like, yeah, but my friend was called blank. Oh yeah, I'm not saying racism does. Of course it exists. We're humans, and we're tailoring off of that. I can see the light on the end of the horizon when we don't give a shit about what gender somebody is, about what race somebody is. I've never understood giving a shit about it anyway. I don't. It's like, I don't get that. Maybe when I was 10, but as an adult, I don't get it at all. I don't know. If anyone's got a different experience, I'm open to it because I don't have those experiences. I've lived in foreign countries, so I've had the experience of being the only white guy in a place, right? And I could feel why anyone would feel like a little awkward, like a little bit out of their element. I was never, to my knowledge, it was never, other than a few jokes, like, I was living in Mexico. It's like, hey, it's, all the gringo jokes and stuff but it was all good natured. It wasn't like ragging on me or anything. So, but everybody's had different experiences. So, hey guys, I'm having to let you know, my computer is doing this, is locked. So that means I have to restart my whole computer. It does this sometimes. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I can't see. Everyone is frozen in time. I've got Tim's picture on my screen. Hi, Tim. I'm going to look at your picture now for the next 30 minutes. That's
too bad.
But I don't want to keep it this way because this is what's being recorded. So what I want to do, and is Liana on the call by chance? Or I know Leanne's on the call, right?
No, Liana, just me.
Just you. Okay. So what I need to know is if I can this meeting, what happens to everybody else? Can everybody else come back on if we go to the same link? Do you know? Does anyone know?
I know that the video has to render. I don't know what that impacts as far as people coming back on. I believe that you can leave.
Well, I can't. I'm
You
gonna.
can't.
Right.
See if you can leave the meeting without ending the meeting.
I'm gonna have to hard reboot my machine. This is what happens: is I have to literally turn the damn thing, unplug it, and plug it back in. So I'm gonna try that, guys. And if we can come back. If you're still here, great. I'll come back on. If not, sorry. and we'll come back on. We'll all dive back on in a second. Otherwise, we will not have good video. So 1 second. Oh, I love technology.
Yeah, I was just looking at the options in Zoom, and it depends upon how you set it up, how you set the rooms up.
I think, did John leave? Because I don't
like it.
He's frozen, so.
But it's still
recording. We can all talk about him. We're still recording. No, but those points about the reframe and the higher, so they were great. The other thing one of the things I took away from the call was the fact that you can write different kinds of copy, or in other words, you can be a different kind of copywriter. And like Paris does not write empathy-based copy. He admitted that. Like he said, when he tries, he fails at it. And so he doesn't get into the emotions of his avatar as well as other copywriters. So he doesn't go there because he knows he's not as good at it. But then you have people like Chris Haddad, who that's all they do is write empathy-based copy because they really, really, really know their avatar and they're good at it. And Clayton Makepeace is another one that writes really, really good empathy copy, but he doesn't write copy like Paris. And to me, that was astounding that there were different ways to achieve the same result.
Yeah, it is. I know one of the things I know that I asked Paris at one point was, Paris does one thing that I like. He does not do it, which is ask questions in his copy. And I think that's really interesting.
Right. And yet his copy sold millions and millions of dollars. So I love the fact that you don't have to check all the boxes.
Hey, guys.
Hey, John's back.
All right. So I didn't kill the meeting for everybody. I know I killed the recording, so but that's okay. So Leanne or Liana?
No, it's still recording. The only thing that happened was you left. And we talked about you and that. Now you're back.
Oh, cool. We'll talk about me all you want. I'm going to go back and listen to the recording and kill everyone after that.
If your name is Paris or Chris Haddad or Clayton Makepeace, we talked about you.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Judy?
I said if your name is Paris or Chris Haddad or Clayton Makepeace, we talked about you.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, those people all deserve to be talked about a lot. So, yeah, boy, wasn't Paris a fountain of knowledge? My God. So crazy insanity on that call. So if I've lost anyone, it seems like I lost everybody's video. So I can see Brennan. No, I can see. Hey, what's up, Brennan? I got your video. How you doing, man?
Oh, great. Thank you.
Good. Good. What's good in your life?
Oh,
You're not legless in Tibet?
hey, no. So I'm in Australia, and it's long weekend. It's pretty crazy. They get off Good Friday and Easter Monday for public holidays. So we're going into a long weekend here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting, which is unfortunately the reason why I missed the call the other day is because since I'm a contractor, I don't have days off. So I kind of had to pile on my workload at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
So I could.
No worries, man. No worries. It's like
snag some time this weekend with all the people.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you tuning in from Australia because I would imagine it's like around 7 p.m. there, right? What is it?
No, it's actually 11:30.
11:30. So there's my math for you. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
11:30 p.m. You know, you would think it's exactly around the world, but it's really around the world from New York. So
from the East Coast. Yep. Where at least where I am. So I'm on the western part of Australia. So if I was on like Sydney, then yeah, it would be even later. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in so late, man. We tried to make this, by the way, you can thank Leanne for this because I was like, and Liana was the other person that said that we should do it at 9 a.m. I'm like, what the hell were we thinking 9 a.m.? Because I have team meetings on Monday at 9 a.m. And we had to tell a whole team of people, look, we're just not going to have team meetings until 10:30 now. And I'm like, what did we choose 9 a.m. for? And everybody's going, guys in Australia, guys, and and so we always try to have it by 11 a.m.
Your time is still really great, I think, for everyone. It's been funny though because I've definitely had scotch in my coffee mug before on one of these calls.
Yeah. It's just when we have them at 5 p.m., which is our normal time to do a lot of stuff. So, well, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, great to be here. I appreciate you extending the time as well. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten to say this before, but I just think it's incredible that you've opened up so much of your life to let us interact with you and pick your brain and hear your musings. I think for a lot of us, basically, I would never have this opportunity to share a round table with one of the world's best copywriters. And so the opportunity to just hear some of your thoughts and guidance and just kind of ask random one-off questions that we all think throughout the day, but never have anyone to kind of speak into that is essential, is really invaluable. And so I definitely had no expectation this would even be something. And then for you to start off, and then extend it to so much extra time for us, I know for me, it's really amazing. So thank you.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. I'm doing this because it's fun and I just want to do everything that's fun, but B, I really always think of myself, how much can I over deliver? But it wasn't like a labor thing to do it. It was like, oh, we just need more time. Because every time I get around to somebody, we run out of time. I mean, we're missing, like, even right now we got 11 people. Like if we had all 30 on it ever at one time, that'd be like, there's no way, right? We could go around. So I'm going to try to say hello to hold that thought. Valerie, I have not spoken to you, Valerie. Are you there? Are you there, Valerie?
Good morning, John. Good morning, everybody.
Valerie, is this your first time on the call, or am I just losing my brain this morning?
No, it's not my first time on the call, but it's the first time we're talking.
And that's what I meant, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I called the other night, and I thought it was great. What have I been doing lately? To work on my avatar and filling my niche forms. I've really been revisiting Todd Brown's E5 camp.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of sections on there in terms of questions and digging deeper. And so that's been helping me
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're into E5 at all, I mean, yeah, Todd's stuff is amazing. As you know, he was on the call the other night, and um, uh, we have a lot of the E5 templates given. Todd just gave them to us for Copy Pro, just FYI. So when you fill that stuff out, don't be surprised if you see like entire funnel sequences pop up. Like, hey, that looks familiar. Yeah, the patterns will look familiar, but yeah, because that's kind of stuff we like to give to people. And that's just how cool Todd is. He's like, well, yeah, put it in there. It's awesome, you know. So just FYI, it's all in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be fun. So, hey, Elaine, I see you down there.
Hi.
Hey, you're on camera.
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, good. Thanks. I'm just picking up everything by osmosis. When I first started this, I was so fixated on I need to know the formula, and I'm realizing there are a lot of things that I need to absorb by osmosis, but I don't think there is one formula, and I'm reading a lot of and hearing about a lot of different ways to write effective sales copy. So I'm starting to just let go of this whole, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know what the formula is, and trying to take everything that I'm slowly learning, and just do the best I can, and you know, understand that it's just going to take me some time and a lot of practice. And what I really like is feedback. So I'm hoping, I joined a women's copywriting group, and I'm hoping to constantly have myself in a space where I can get feedback from people who are talented. Derek gave me some good advice on Facebook the other day, and just like that. So I feel like that's the best way to learn something, is to be constantly getting your stuff critiqued and rewritten.
Yeah, and I'm going to get around to looking at that. By the way, I sent a message out to this week. I am like one day a month I'm exhausted. Like one day I have an energy that just goes on and on and on, and I hit that one day, and it was the day of the telethon. I'm like, how am I going to do this right? And I'm like, so okay, I just need to have to give myself a little bit of a break, because it's a 7-day-a-week thing for me. But I'm getting to it. I am going to say it's in my brain now. Mainly because of what we're probably, you can see in the whiteboard behind us, what we've mapped out on this whiteboard is going to be kind of crazy. That being said, I want to say that you remember the original Karate Kid, the whole wax on, wax off stuff, right?
I didn't really watch the Karate Kid.
Okay. Well, you know the whole wax on, wax off. He had him like cleaning his car and cleaning his fence, and so he's like, "Hey, I've been doing this for months. What the hell? What's going on here?" And then he goes, "Okay, so now paint the fence," and he painted the fence, and he struck him. And he was able to block the strike because he knew how to, because his arm was used to doing this, right? It's similar to that. So when we get to the end of this, when we walk through the sales letter that's in Copy Pro, we're going to walk through it, and you're going to see all the puzzle pieces fit together. Now, if you use one blueprint for one sales letter over and over and over again, you're going to make sales for clients, but you're not going to be an A-list copywriter. That being said, you can take that blueprint and rearrange it. And as long as you understand the formulas of empathy, as long as you understand setting the stage, as long as you understand what we're talking about today inside the lesson, is what entering a conversation at the right time. We're going to talk about that today. You're going to be able to put all these puzzle pieces together and write more effective copy than ever possible. So yeah, hang in there. I'm glad that you are hanging in there, Melanie. So that's really cool. So, hey, Oscar, what's good? Do you want to share anything? I'm trying to get everyone on time on camera. If they want to come on camera, hear from people. You don't have to.
I have a question. So when you're writing, how do you determine what aspect of, or how do you determine what you want to focus on most? Like as far as in between kind of empathy, pain points, maybe even the highlights, kind of the goals or benefits of your product.
Yeah. They all lend themselves to different ones, don't they? I mean,
yeah. And so I imagine across the board, you probably tend to hit certain ones a bit heavier.
Yeah.
Depending on what your goal is. Is it goal based? Is it product based?
It's never
it's never product based.
Never product based. Yeah. That's one of the golden rules of copy. no one gives a shit about your product ever.
Okay.
Now, if you had a pill to cure cancer, let's say I have a pill that will absolutely cure cancer immediately. Then people would care about the product only because it cures cancer. Again, they don't care about, you could tell them, if you spent 45 minutes going, let me tell you why this pill cures cancer. We did all this research and this pill is super special.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt if after about 15 minutes, some people with cancer went, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if you can't even go to a cure for cancer and have that, let alone, hey, I've got a new diet book, right? So, or again, I was talking to Derek about this, about like how trainers, and Derek is someone who's obviously in the fitness world as much as I've been, this to be true, that trainers are really wrapped up in ego and really wrapped up in that they're doing something special and different, and no one cares. No one cares. It's really difficult to get to that point, and it's really hard for me, because when you give birth to a product and it's like, it is literally revolutionary. It's literally a thing. At that point, you can sell the concept. You can sell like, hey, we've got an ecosystem that's the only one in the world like it. But even then, that's pretty much the extent. But why is that important to you? Because it's going to give you a chance to be employed and not be put out of work by AI. So these are big things, right? But where do you focus on that? I firmly believe that you should have, your sales letter. We talked about sales letter emails, which I love to use. Okay. A sales letter email sequence is like a 5 email sequence where you're breaking out you're doing the overview, you're getting to know the avatar, you're getting the causes, you're getting the goals, you're getting the actions, you're getting all that stuff. But you're breaking it into chunks. So here's the primary cause. Here's the primary solution. I'm going to lead you into it, and then you're opening the loops. Hey, come back tomorrow. I'm going to lead you into the primary solution, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of a soap opera sequence kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just have out here. So I've been doing that for years, doing that way before soap opera came out. It's like doing emails. So then you're covering all of them, and you don't have to worry about which one do I cover. So which one do you focus on? Maybe a question, and that's a split test kind of thing. You don't know your audience. We're going to look at 3 letters today. If we have, I think we'll have time to get through all 3. And one of them is a John Carlton's golfer letter that we started looking at for different reasons. But today we're going to look at for different reasons. But all of that is just like in your face awesomeness, what you can do. It's all awesome. Awesome. It's just so, he knows the avatar of the golfer, Would the avatar of a golfer go, do you come home after a long day on the green? I've never played golf, so just if I say something wrong, it's because I think golf is, But I know friends of mine that swear by it. I mean, professional athletes play golf. I'm like, I get it. I just never have been that guy. But do you have I can just see this now. Do you ever come home from the night, with your Dockers and your McDonald's hamburger or whatever they eat, depressed because you just sliced into the woods, probably not going to resonate with your average golfer, right? What does is how John did the empathy. He goes, man, if you hurt when you swing, I get it. Freaking hurts. They get that. That's empathy. So how you open of it, it's like, the opener is like, what's their number one thing? So you know what? We've seen Joel Marion mention this to my friend Sean Hansel the other day, and Sean shared it with me. So Joel through osmosis. But Joel said that he's been experimenting with positive headlines, and they've been converting even better than negative ones to some of his email cold traffic. Yeah. So you should experiment. I mean, that being said, most BSLs start off in a very dire way. But so yeah, it's experimentation. My personal preference is you set up something where you've got all those bases covered. The checklist is covered. We're going to try to produce a checklist for you guys, by the way, to I don't know if we're going to be able to manage it between now and the end of the course, but I'd like to do it to where you say, okay, the checklist is in CopyPro. Somebody asked this question last week, I think it was. The checklist is literally CopyPro. Just go through it and see which ones you don't have to have everything in there. Like, oh, I don't have a negative feeling. Okay, you're probably all right. But go through that as a checklist, but we want to make that concise to where you have like a cheat sheet where it's like, okay, do I have this, do I have this? And then just try different experimentations of openers. That's the opening part of anything is the most important. We're going to talk about that today on the call. So somebody was trying to say something. Sorry. Was that you, Leanne?
Nope. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say to Elaine about soaking up copy. I got a really, really, really nice compliment yesterday from Josh Pellicer, who's been working with John on creating Copy Pro. And he said that he was impressed on how much I'd absorbed from being in John's world and now how much I understand about copy. And so you're right, by being in the world, you know, and writing and reading and being around people who will critique, you will just pick it up because you are living in that world. So you're right to kind of let go and keep looking for the perfect thing and just absorb, and your brain will absorb the right stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for validating that, because I really want to do things right. You know, I just have that personality, and I just have to surrender to it. I loved what they said on the call also, and what we've been saying in this class, but one of the guys said, you have to about walking into a bar and reading his copy to the bar and getting their feedback. And that was just such a great little, you know, tip to remember. Like for me, practicing all this stuff, I think it's good to practice and get creative, but sometimes you can get bogged down in the like formula. And
Absolutely.
Not the story and not the message.
Yeah. Right. I'm like that too. I need all the boxes checked and am I doing it right? And just be a student. Just keep listening and absorbing, and you're putting yourself in the right place. Like John, when you were in different countries, when you wanted to learn a language, it's so much easier to learn, right? When you're in the country.
Yeah.
Bad example. I'm a complete language buffoon. So.
I know you, but most people will be able to
I only
learn.
learned how to meet women in foreign countries. Seriously, it was terrible. I can say that in French and Spanish. Ta-da! Everything else was like, did the same thing with reading music too. I don't know what that translation is, but anyway. But it is still a valid parallel. I mean, you know, immersion. If I was to immerse myself into the language and make a conscious effort, I'm sure I could figure it out. But you're going through immersion right now into this world, and it's going to be the best time. And this is not an upsell. So can I parenthetically say what I'm about to say is not meant to be an upsell. It's simply the truth. The truth of the matter is that Joshua, who I do hope to get to see before he takes off for Florida, we put together the first 16 weeks of Copy Pro Academy. And we were so excited about it last night. We probably drank too much. We had a lot of fun. I didn't drink too much, but he probably did. And it's exciting to see that's going to be something that when people, it's not going to be cheap to go through, but it's going to offer employment, and it's going to offer an immediate way for people to take copy. Even if they don't quite know what's going on, they'll see even much more detailed into formulas and have immediate access to be able to use them on your own copy and then submit your copy to be sold. We're excited about that because we have a way of not, okay, let me give you guys some bad news. Give me some guys some bad news here. And if anyone else wants to come on here, you're welcome to come on here. The bad news is, all copywriters are going to be put out of work within 5 years, 5 to 10 years. That what you're doing right now is not ever going to be needed again. That's the bad news. So it's just not. Okay, it's like saying I'm unless you're John Carlton, me, Chris Haddad, what Dave, there are always going to be needs for the top of the top of the top. But even then, after 15 years. 20 years, I mean, I'll probably be retired, but it's not going to be a thing because machines, it's like saying, for example, would you take the top Russian chess player, forget his name, and put him against Watson? He'd lose every time. It's impossible. You can't beat him. So AI is getting exponentially better. The good news is we're the ones pioneering it. So literally when I say we're the ones, as in my company is the ones pioneering it. And the fact of the matter is that we're taking an ethical stance of like, is there a way that we can teach machines, because it's beyond our control. It's like, okay, the Terminators are coming, but could we teach them to be friendly? And better than that, could the Terminators pay you money? And that's what we figured out. We figured out a way to make copywriters that participate in this venture with us money for ever. And I just have to sell that idea to the president of my company. I'm the owner. I'm the guy. I'm the number one dude. But still, the president has to be on board. And our board. I have to sell that to the board. That's our whole thing over the next couple of weeks is I have an idea. It's going to sound a little crazy, but what if we paid copywriters ad infinitum for any contributions they put into the machine based on meritocracy? So this is why I'm saying we're going back to meritocracy. Based on the merit of the person. In other words, Derek, did you want to say something, or did you? Okay, so you just okay. Well, based on the meritocracy of the copywriter. So in other words, the guy or girl that submits the most copy and gets sold the most gets paid the most percentage, and it goes down, drifts in to where people that don't submit don't get paid anything. But if we're teaching AI, and that's what we're doing, and we're doing that so we can teach it real copy, because there's no one doing that. Persuado is not real copy. Persuado is nonsense. I mean, does it work? Yes. Can an AI write a novel? Yes. Is it compelling direct response copy? No, it's not direct. No, you can read right through it, right? What if you had a group of 2, 5, 10,000 copywriters, all certified by our team, all having to go through a certain principle, knowing that their copy has to be good because we've already designed the first level of the smart machine to make it good? Then you get better and better and better. And so the damn machine, in this case, IBM Watson, is learning what it means to actually sound like real copywriters. Otherwise it's going to be scouring pages and trying to find, how does it know good copy? You have to direct it somewhere. So we can direct it to good copy, and then we can direct it to our internal staff. And so my model is, what if we can pay everyone that's coming? They paid us, the copywriters pay us to come into Copy Pro Academy. And then what if we can pay them a lot more money in return from copy they sell, but also for copy that gets sold at any time in the future by that particular AI? That's pretty cool. So that's what we're working toward. What does that sound like to you guys? Does it sound like you guys can tell me like you're full of shit, you're dreaming or whatever, and this is not meant to be enough. I'm just telling you where we're going. And I've already reached out to a few of you that sound like you were interested in that. But if I would love to have everyone in the whole class, join in. But we're building a team of our first goal is 1,000, and then we're going to go to 10,000 of copywriters in that machine doing what it's either participate in the machine, and therefore you could have money that's coming in ad infinitum, or you could get beaten by them in 5 years. So I don't want to see that happen. I love copywriting, and I would love to think that that's not going to happen. It's just I just know too many people in that space. I mean, I know too many people that are friends of mine in that space that are saying this is just around the corner. So I'd rather we're going to beat the machines is basically what we're doing. And we're also at the same time, you might as well be friends with the machines, teach the machines, at least let them learn the right way. And then if we can do this right, I don't know if I'm hoping that we can, is that we can pay everyone for it. We can definitely pay everyone for it in the short term, but I'm talking about long term. So short term is going to be awesome. Short term is going to be a whole new way to sell copy. That's going to change the way people buy copy entirely. That I can guarantee you. Long term is what I'm talking about. Like over the next 5 years, can we make this to where, unless some dick company buys us and says, "Oh, we're going to nuke that part of the," that's what I don't want to happen. So that's we're playing a big game here. So yeah. Negative reaction to. I just want to read something that Kevin rankles when it comes to copy software. So it's really interesting that Kevin Rogers and I are good friends, or friends. Oh, we're not good friends, but we're friends. And Kevin would tell you that this is a little different. I am not. Well, first of all, PhoneScripts is not smart software at all. In fact, it's just not. It's not even close to what we're talking about. we're talking. You might as well be like, again, comparing a tricycle to a Ferrari. They both have wheels. But what we're talking about is an ecosystem that when you guys see it, you're going to go, "Oh, I get it now. It's a lot bigger than what I thought it was." Because none of you have seen it. None of you have. So you've just seen Copy Pro 1, which is a software. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about 2. And what we're going to do with it. I'm excited. Does that sound interesting to anyone? Do you guys want to hear about that? And like raise your hand if I need to see you. Like say I would like to join Copy Pro Academy when this comes out. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been meaning to reach out, John. That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about, I'll say this and we're going to jump off the call because we have to. I don't know, because some weird things are going on with my videos today, so you guys have to excuse me here. When Russell Brunson's name is mentioned in chats, negative reaction. Russell's not doing copy AI, at least not that I'm aware of him secretly. So yeah, when you get shit software producing, okay software producing the same thing over and over and over again, that's what Kevin is railing about, and rightfully so. When you have to grapple with the fact that your art is going to be absorbed by a machine that's going to be smarter, faster, and better than you, and if you're the one programming that machine, if you're the one teaching it to do that, or better yet, if thousands of you are teaching it to do that, how much better is that going to be? Because if it happens, in other words, we can't stop it from happening. So given that, why not all do it? And all in our little small party of copywriters, even if there's 10,000 of us big, we all make a little money off of it every single time that damn thing does something. So that's the plan. I'm going to keep you guys posted. Big news here. So Kevin and I have not talked about that, so I'm going to bring it up to him. But so guys, thanks a lot for being on the call. Hopefully this was really entertaining and fun, and I'll see you on the other call in about 30 seconds. All right, cool guys.